Some people are always like, you're climbing the ladder, right? So you could be climbing the ladder in your personal life financially over time, right? As I was like pounded with grief after my husband was sick and passed away and making some big career changes, none of that's linear. And so there is no ladder.
When you just like get up, allow yourself the grace to be like, well, that wasn't smart or wasn't right, or I could have done that better, or man, I learned a lot here. Get back up and keep going. Find time for stillness, for peace. The things that will happen in your life will become abundant.
All of those different life experiences, I think I've found, another chip of wisdom going through that.
What's going on, friends? Welcome back to another episode of the Love Local Chicagoland podcast. My name is Jason Stallard, and I am the fortunate one that gets to interview local stories and get their message across. My friends, I'm doing this because I think stories matter. I think at the end of the day, when we could take our own stories, when we could learn from them, when we could grow from them to be able to live a joyous life, but then go lift others up that maybe are going through those same things because of our stories, I think life is better, especially when you double down on doing all that locally. My friends, the person I have here today is Kimberly Dahlem. She's a very strong, independent woman. She's had a long career in education, and she took that career and the knowledge she got from there, plus her life experiences of happiness to utter grief, to be able to get into entrepreneurship. She's a coach, and she's also an author of a book that we'll talk about today, Pivoting with Grace. And she's also doing something really cool to be able to help adults with disabilities. She's building a center for that we'll get to talk about as well. But my friends, we're stronger together, and each of us has a voice. And today I'm going to introduce you to a voice that's making waves with the goal to be able to help uplift. My friends, welcome. Let me introduce you to Kimberly Dahlem. Welcome to the show. Yep.
Thanks for having me back, Jason. I'm excited to be here today.
My pleasure. It's, I think we always knew we were going to do this as your journey continued to unfold, and the timing kind of worked itself out to be here like right at your book launch, which is going to be launching, today's August 8th. When this goes out, it's going to be going out on August 15th. It's going to be on Amazon, right?
Amazon, yes.
That's pretty crazy.
It's exciting.
Do you ever look in the mirror and be like, holy crap, I can't believe I'm here and I can't believe I wrote a book?
I feel like I'm in a high season and just embracing those moments. But I think we all have a book in us.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have more than one in you.
I would agree. I think everybody has a book in them.
Yeah?
I think
100%.
That's 100%. I think you should tell your story. I think through our stories, I think we all have. That should be a T-shirt. I never thought of it that way, but I think we all have a book within us for sure. And I think, but not all of us could get to a point to be able to get it out. And you've done that, and you've done that through, I tried to explain in the beginning, like you had this happy, beautiful life, and you got hit with some pretty hard stuff and ended up losing your husband, but you've overcome. And through that, to me, the waves of life, as we talked about, are there. But when you could overcome and when you can continue riding the waves, it's like kind of makes it more tolerable at the end of the day, right? Kind of diving right into it with you, what made you decide to write Pivoting with Grace?
Well, I've always been an educator at heart and then a natural leader, and I've helped a lot of people through very dark seasons. So I would say my own resilience training over the past several years, and then just being at tables and spaces with other individuals, whether it be a formal or informal coaching, I felt that it was time really to put those tenets in one space, in one place. And I think I'm in a place in my life that I'm more open to being vulnerable. And so it was kind of that perfect mix to really tell your story. And storytelling, as I believe, is very, very important. And that's why I originally had connected with you. But it's really a guide to help others. It's also the ability to help others understand, to share their own story and look at what their own pivot points are and what they do with those pivot points as they present.
Yeah, that's awesome. You said something that sparked a question for me about being vulnerable. You're at a space where you feel like you could be vulnerable. I think vulnerability is a superpower when you could get there, and it doesn't come overnight.
Sure.
But to me, what's the power in being vulnerable for a human?
I think being still with your own being and your thoughts, being able to dive into whatever loss you've processed through, perhaps betrayal, any changes, any pieces of rejuvenation, but being able to be still with that. And then I believe in a higher power very, very deeply, but knowing what comes next. And then looking at all of that within a sense of grace.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thanks for sharing.
Sure.
What season of life were you in when this book started to form?
A season of reinvention and rejuvenation. And so, we previously had talked, and just for the audience here, if they haven't prior, I had a long career within public education. I still tangentially help with that. And I've always been a natural leader. So I was really at a pivot point within my career time and doing some work for some friends within like their own startups and some HR, following my son around the country for athletics. And it was a time that I was reflecting deeper within my own writing and putting pieces together and spending some time in my own grief, because you need to work at it. It's going to show up. But I think for a while, life was just so busy, whether it would be, through work and career or with kids, that it was a lovely time that I took time for myself. And so that's really where then it brought it to pen to paper, thought from pen to paper, and then it went from there. And I was lucky enough to meet somebody that lovely woman that has been publishing authors for over 40 years. Mm-hmm. And we hit it off. We had a great conversation, and she became my book coach.
Awesome.
And so that's how I come to the table today.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. And it's I've seen you grow just in the short time that I've known you. But it to me, I think it's partially probably because of that. It's like if you don't know something, you're okay saying I don't know it, then you're going to go figure it out.
100%.
Get yourself a coaching or, connected you with somebody to what we talked about earlier about podcasting and about your, grasping your style, your brand, your image, and that cover art and how important that is. And it's important to be able to gel for sure. So to me, you've been on this roller coaster of a life, and I think we all have in our own ways. But there's been valleys and low points
100%.
for you, for sure. And I'd say maybe even lower than many would get to. Mm-hmm. How did those moments help shape the book?
Faith. And so truly my faith. Each time that something catastrophic would happen in life, I would look at it and say, okay, Kimberly, you have a choice. This could either level you or you can choose to level up. And I think that's bravery, but bravery within faith and knowing that you can take that next step without maybe Martin Luther King, see the whole staircase, and knowing that you're going to be okay. Because even though you might feel alone or lonely, you aren't alone. Because if you do believe in that higher power, it's going to take you to what's meant to be next.
It's what you're built for, right?
100%. Yeah.
We all have something in our hearts.
Yes.
At the end of the day.
Yes.
All of us could go there, and some of us are born there. Most of us have to do that work to be able to get there. But when we can put that work in to get what's there, and then have it to come out in whatever we're creating, like that's pretty awesome. Like it's such a beautiful way to be able to live life. But it's not an easy road to be able to get there. At least from my experience, it doesn't seem like it was an easy road for you.
No, it wasn't either.
We can continue to go. To me, Pivoting with Grace, for one, it's a good title.
Thank you.
But what does that mean to you personally?
So I was able to be vulnerable in the book and share various pivot points that had happened in my life, but connected to ways that I found resilience and I found growth through that. And the way I've been able to connect with energy of others, energy of spaces and places, energy of my own divine power, that it has moved me through not only healing, but also to understand my gifts more deeply, and then to be able to share those gifts and put it out there in the world as the servant leader that I am. That's how it came about, and that's really the journey through it. So we talk about connection in the book. I talk with my audience about energy, really the renewable energy, and not so much that you have to protect your energy, but you need to understand that it's a resource that will regenerate, but you have to take account to where your energy is. And sometimes you have to pull back to be able to kind of fill that fill that bucket again, if you will. Sometimes you can get energy from others. Sometimes others can drain you. And so to really find what's that accounting balance for an individual, to put them more in balance or in balance more often, if you will.
Yeah.
And so we talk a lot about that. And then really, what does fulfillment look like? And it looks different, I think, in different phases of our life. I think it also looks different in different relationships in our life. So whether you're a parent, what does fulfillment look like for you as a parent? A companion, what does that look like for you with a companion? Work, is it work or is it a career? Is it a labor of love? My whole life, it was, I wake up and I am excited to go help and to help others, and it always was that way. And when I needed a change, I made that change, and that took bravery too. So we talk about bravery in the book too, just the ability to have the forethought when you need to just make the change and know that for time, different spaces and places and people will suit your needs, but don't be afraid to evolve.
Wow, it's just super insightful. It's to me, as I'm hearing you talk, emotional intelligence and EQ is something we're learning more as a society.
Yes.
In this generation, like, we've been able to learn a lot because of how we've been able to access information. So our ability to be able to understand ourselves and to be able to have self-awareness, when we do that work to get there, it to me, it could really help. If we do that, could really help us shape a better tomorrow. And to me, because we learn things like resilience, we learn that failure is a part of life. We learn that grief and things in life are going to happen. But it's about climbing back up. It's about, like, getting back on that horse. As hard as it is, with that wave of life going crashing into the bottom, you get back up, right?
Yeah.
Your book explores communication, leadership, relationships, and growth. Some of that you just talked about.
Yeah.
And you talked about, to me, I think you did talk about those pillars, right? So why did you focus on those pillars? Like, why was that so important to you?
Yeah. Much of it was earlier in my own self-reflection, and then it was through conversations that I found in a couple different coactive coaching models that I was doing for individuals and with individuals and walking their journey with them. And tying it into something that you had just said, quite honestly, I think we're getting really good as a society at recognizing mental health.
A lot better.
A lot better.
Some people still don't want to look. Let's be real.
Yeah. The part that I find that we are still very stifled, and both in, I've seen this in my work, I've seen this, through relationships, is the mental fitness part. I think we're really quick to label, we're quick to identify mental health challenges, and then we'll talk about we're working on mental fitness, and I like to call BS on it because I think a lot of people don't. And, I call critics that way. I think I get some critics that way. But that's the challenge that I put to myself, to my own kids, my family, the individuals that are in my life. But what does mental fitness look like? How are you working on it, right? And with that, I really created a cycle that you see in the book, and you identify, you acknowledge, and then you take action. So what does that action look like, right? I think people get stuck. They can identify and acknowledge maybe, but really, how are they taking that action? And that's what I love about working with individuals and then myself, and that is how I connected the book all together, those various tenets that we talk about. So we all have a story. We can talk about it within different pillars, but then what does it look like in your own mental health, and how does that translate to mental fitness?
Yeah. And, that's beautiful. And, to figure that out on your own, right? Because everybody's journey is different.
100%,
Sometimes,
yeah.
in the self-development world, it's like, do this and this, and your life will be great. It's like, well, usually it's the internal work that gets you to the
work,
external
always.
Piece of it.
Yeah.
But to me, the mental fitness piece has been life changing for me. I've not always been a person that has focused in on It was more of like go, build whatever I was. It was overcoming whatever traumas that I've gone through in my life. But once I got to slow down, once I got to understand that, it's really important to have, time with friends. It's really important to have exercise for my physical body.
Yes.
And that's also kind of a meditation for me. Yeah. And it's important to have a spiritual life. And allow yourself that grace, which I didn't have, speaking for me earlier on. I was, like I said, I was a bulldog in my own way as a builder, but once I figured that piece out, it was, and what you go into the book, like, it's going to be life-changing for you, right? Like, because you could do anything you want in life. Just you have to listen to here, and you make slow adjustments upwards. Am I right? Or
the path is there. If you could be quiet and still, the next step will present itself. A lot of people can't. I mean, I was accustomed to that too. You know, I would go 110 miles an hour, and it was, what's the next thing? And whether it was helping my husband as he was sick and he passed, and then you move on to pandemic and solo parenting and, helping build the plane in the air for education. And then coming out of that, it's like, when do you really exhale? I don't think you do. And so we have to make time to do that.
You have to just fit it in.
Yeah, you have to prioritize it. And so I believe I always have. It's just I've been more intentional the last handful of years. As I was finishing with my time within public education and then till now. And I still help on the public and private end just because I have such a passion of being a servant leader and in my heart of mental fitness, and then also individuals with disabilities. That's going to be with me until I'm no longer, in this space, in this universe.
Yeah. It goes back to you're doing what's in your heart. And you're building that. There's so much power in that. And for me, when people could get there, and I come from a perspective that didn't always know that. So like I say that in hopes of like wanting people to hear your story and then like have hope for their own. Like what could be for their life? What if they pick up this book? What could they learn about pivoting with grace and navigating the ups and downs of life? Like because they're coming, So you talked about jungle gym through our prep conversation. Can you clarify what jungle gym means?
Yeah,
for our
I've used
audience?
the phrase in both professional life as well as personal life. So some people are always like, you're climbing the ladder, right? So you could be climbing the ladder in your personal life financially over time, right? Or you could be climbing the ladder in family, or you could be climbing the ladder within your career. And I've always thought of it as a jungle gym, which I'm happy I have, because as I was like pounded with grief after my husband was sick and passed away and making some big career changes, none of that's linear. And so there is no ladder. You could be here on the jungle gym. You could be here.
That sounds like another book.
Yeah,
Just saying.
one of the two. Yeah, it was actually in the title of my dissertation back in the day. But what I also see within that jungle gym is like there isn't a right or wrong. It's what it is for right now. And I think tuning into yourself and figuring out what that looks like for you. But then where is the next rung within the jungle gym? So I don't know. Some people will say it's a silly phrase. It makes sense to individuals when I've been counseling them or mentoring. I feel like it's very fitting for my own life.
Helps it kind of paint a picture.
It does.
And sometimes when we're in our own stories, it's really hard to paint that picture of the story we're in. I don't know.
Yeah. And
so I think stuff like that helps. And
sometimes you fall off the jungle gym. I mean, my son did when he was 5, and broke his arm like so many kids do, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So you get back up. How do you get back up, right? You can let it completely level you, or you can level up through it. And so I've made that intentional choice as to, okay, so what's the next door, and let me walk through it.
Yeah. You can't level up without grace, right?
No.
That's
my
actually, you probably
choice.
could. It's just going to be a lot harder, right?
Yeah, I think it's my faith, and so that's why I've always moved forward with grace. And it's just who I am. I think it just is in bed in how I show up in this world. I know that I don't have to have perfection to move forward.
Perfect isn't real.
It isn't real. It isn't real. I think people can't connect perfect with like control. And I see that a lot as I was a younger adult and a younger parent, and even like post Mark passing away, trying to be like, okay, do the kids have everything they need? Where when I took a step back, I'm like, okay, you're trying to control their grief. You can't.
Yeah.
Even though I could understand intellectually, like, no, our journey's totally different. We're going to really go through this process differently. It was amazing because then you can take a step back and be like, no, I was trying to control that.
Yeah.
I'm going to get you the perfect service and allow you to have the perfect process.
Yeah.
Well, that is like
your grief was we're similar. Your grief,
Like,
you're
stop it.
controlling it, and you're like, I'm gonna make sure everything is good here.
Yeah, and now it's
but
like,
you're like, oh yeah, I can't.
no, it's whatever.
None of that's gonna happen.
Yeah, and I think you
Running the walls.
as you get better at it, I mean, you're walking into rooms and sitting at tables and having conversations with people, like, it just comes. It just comes. It's none of it is forced, but I think sometimes, like, in your job, you have to force things, or in life, certain things because you're a responsible adult. But really finding joy and knowing there is no perfection and just kind of rolling through it, it's a much happier way to live, because there's going to be peaks and there'll be valleys. And right now I'm in a lovely peak, and I think 10 years ago I would have been like, oh, when is the other shoe going to drop? I'm not like that now. I'm like, no, I'm all in. Like, this is a blast. I'm having so much fun. And yeah, there'll be another valley at some point in time, but you get better at it. Life doesn't get easier. You just get better at dealing with it.
Yeah, when you just like get up, allow yourself the grace to be like, well, that wasn't smart or wasn't right, or I could have done that better, or man, I learned a lot here.
Yeah.
Get back up and keep going. And if you continue to do that, you find time for stillness, for peace, and the things that will happen in your life will become abundant. And the small things will no longer bother you as much, in my experience, right?
Yeah, 100%.
And when you understand that true self, and you might take more walks in the middle of the day where you never did before, because everything's just going to be all right.
Yeah.
Right? And you could listen to what your heart's saying and what you're supposed to do. Allow that time to take place, which us humans aren't really good at that, right? We're really good at time? Like that time frame? I don't think so. But to be able to continue moving forward, our lives could be abundant. And it's when I saw the title of your book, Pivoting with Grace, I'm like, that's the foundation of it all. If you give you grace for yourself, and you keep getting back up, and you develop the self-awareness to be able to, and your intuition, game over.
Yeah.
Like, and game on. It's not game over. It's game on in life, and our time here on earth could be spent doing what we're built to do, right? You talk about using life experiences as a catapult rather than a crusher. How have you done that in your journey?
Sure. My story and my experiences are unique to me, but we all have our own. So I would like to say I had a great childhood, but I also have struggled with, both in childhood and then adulthood, my relationship with my alcoholic father, who has been sober, and I'm so proud of him for so many years. But that was hard, and that was a void in my life. Having amazing love with my husband. He was a great partner and a great dad, but then losing him and helping him go through that, like, that is another piece of it. The jungle gym of a career and moving through public education, and then also moving through as a female. We've talked a little bit about that. That can be kind of tough. I've had amazing mentors, both male and female, but that was not always easy. And then being a solo parent, and then finding love again and being out there again and being vulnerable. That hasn't come without its own challenges as well. You meet people at this age and stage of our lives, and we've all been through something, right? So you've lost your person, or perhaps you've been in a messy divorce, or you're exposed to other individuals that have like significant mental illness. So we all come to the table with that. And so what does that 2.0 look like, right? So that's different than being 20 and it's all brand new and you're kind of moving through things. So all of those different life experiences, I think I've found, another chip of wisdom going through that. I've given grace to myself, and oftentimes I've given grace to others, just like, okay, meeting them where they're at, and that's where they're at. But taking those as culminating experiences and then connecting them to the tenets in the book, for myself, looking at how do I identify them, how do I acknowledge them, how do I then move forward, I share pieces of that throughout the book. I'm in a space and a place in my life where I feel vulnerable to do that. And then within that, for myself, in my own journaling, as I had started asking myself like some guiding questions or like reflective questions, where then I found I've put that into practice in some of my executive coaching and then some of just my coactive mentorship that I've processed through. And so those are in the book as well. And my hope is, and my call to action is that others that choose to take a look at the book and to pick it up, that how can they apply this to their own life? And I prompt them throughout the book with those various pieces. So, I give a little bit of my personal life story. I'll connect it to one of the tenets, and then I talk about how I've reflected on it, and then I pose those same guiding questions to my audience. And so for the reader, what does that look like, sound like, and feel like for them? And then can they, at that time, if they're going through it, are they able to put pen to paper or at least put thought to it? Yeah. So that's my hope, and I think that is a piece of me giving back to a mental fitness journey that I've been through that I continue to do and I continue to practice. I would say that is probably my strongest out of all my different skill sets, but having a really strong resolve and strong mental fitness. So what does that look like for others? And it's not the same, and that's okay because our journeys are different.
But it starts with grace. It starts with wanting to learn and grow too, right?
Yeah.
That has to be in there as a part of this ride. It's exciting. So like this show is going on August 15th or August 8th.
Yeah.
Your book launches August 15th.
Yeah.
And you're going to have a book signing on the 2nd. So it'll be out and done already time this launches. That's crazy. Isn't it? Like, what
it is. It's crazy.
What's your thoughts?
It's crazy good. Yeah. It's crazy good. Amen. I feel like it's another lovely accomplishment. I'm thankful that I have had the time and have given myself the grace to write and then connect with some really cool people. I mean, my book coach was amazing. The firm that I've used, the London group that has helped with it. I mean, they're great. And I think this is really just a start. It's funny because my coach would say, Kimberly, you need to give more. And I'm like, this is where I'm at. And so, having her give grace to I feel like I give a lot to my audience within the book, but I know that there's more. So there probably is a 2.0 for the book too. So we'll see. But this is great. It connects with book circles. It connects with speaking engagements that I've pursued. It's a way that people can take a look at who I am and then say, okay, hey, how do we want to partner?
Yeah, that's awesome. What excites you the most about what is next?
Oh, boy. I think current partnerships that I have an amazing business partner. We have done some really cool things already, just in this past year. And we are launching what I would say is like my pipe dream. And I think it comes from being in Illinois and being in the public setting for so long. But we really struggle with quality, consistent services for adults with disabilities. And I'm talking like 23 and above. I think different high schools and different programming and communities, special rec associations, they do a phenomenal job offering services and helping bring parents and young adults or children that way. But we don't do such a great job on the other side. And so over my time and over my journey, I would see small groups of parents that would pull together and be able to offer service for their small group of young adults, and then it would fizzle out. Now, there are some mainstays which are great, and I think my goal is really to add to that layer, but to have sustainable service for adults with disabilities within Illinois.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. Like, you're a big thinker and a big dreamer, which is needed in this world.
A giver.
A giver, yeah.
It's
servant leader, I think
how do you
is
get to
another
yes?
way to say it. Yeah.
How do you get to yes, right? And so, and that's my job as an executive coach. It hasn't been in education. It's been small and bigger companies. I can go in and I can assess a situation and environment, and I'm there to solve problems that they might not even know they have yet.
Totally, yeah.
And so how do you get to that? And I feel blessed with that gift. And so within that, and then my passion for individuals with disabilities, which I like to look at this as adults with abilities. So how do we meet them with their abilities and give them meaningful generalization of skills and get them out there? And so it's already happening. I've been doing that on a smaller scale with this business partner, and we were able to acquire something that is really, really special.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited to continue to learn about it as we evolve.
Thanks.
Talking about people and especially adults with disabilities, I just learned, within the last year with doing collaborations with Jerry's Cafe of just, for one, how many
amazing.
people are out there with disabilities in our community. And then how many of those people don't have jobs and are, there's no place for them. So a place like Jerry's Cafe is a really special place to be able to make them feel like they're a part of something and to be able to give them a paycheck every 2 weeks. Like it's pretty amazing, but it's just like, well, what else can we do? And and you're doing it. I don't know anything about that as a whole. But I do know that it's important for us to be like good humans. And some of us are born, the way that we are, and some of us are born with intellectual disabilities. It's important for us as humans to collectively support one another and to be able to help uplift each other. And not doing that isn't okay. So like, what to me? It's like, well, this is going to be great at what you're doing, but people that are listening, like, what else could be out there? What else could somebody else go out there to get to their yes, to be able to build something that could help people, because especially with disabilities, because it's important. To me, what type of impact are you looking to make with this new center?
Yeah, I would say large-scale community and overall for Illinois. The impact that I'm looking to do is to break down barriers that families have to get adult care. And so reason being, Jason, is there's, Social Security, Department of Rehabilitation Services, all the various special rec associations. And then in addition to that, there's a myriad of services, whether it be medical services and or a related type service. So whether it be speech or occupational therapy or even ABA, applied behavior, in adulthood. What does it look like to have those services and have the barriers broken down, perhaps for transportation to get to a place? And so what's lovely about this center is it will be an opportunity for both profit and nonprofit to be present, to break down those barriers for individuals to come. And so whether they're coming for a session in something, whether they're coming for day programming, whether they're coming for counsel for other successful adults with children with disabilities that they can help counsel families as to, hey, this is how I worked with my insurance to get to yes for the service that my young adult needs, or this is how I'm working on additional planning. It takes not just like a shop or one skill, it takes it and puts it on a grander level. So we have several people that have already signed on. So for instance, coffee makers that are great, soap makers, a guy that makes watches. So people that are smaller footprint business, which I love to support, and then also some larger manufacturing that can give some skill and will to be able to teach those skills and then connect them into their own businesses. And so it is meaningful work, whether it be internship-based, whether it be limited within hours because they can only work so many hours so that they still can collect their Social Security. It's how do you educate, and I'm an educator at heart, how do you help support that mental fitness, and then how do you help really elevate what their abilities are, not disabilities, but what are their abilities, and then connect them in to a meaningful life so that they're not just at home or they're not just, with family. And
So
unfortunately, there's many families that don't have the ability to chase the dollar or chase the next political lens. And so we're some of that answer. We can break that down while everybody's clamoring here and here. We're at targets on the prize. And so whether that be through some donors, some grants, as well as some people that really are investing in the mission, it's an all call.
it's important this time in history. It's there's a lot of things we can't control and we're not going to be able to control.
Yeah.
But as humans, as souls that could get to our heart to be able to build what we're supposed to.
Yes.
What should we?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, and I think for everybody, like, figure out your call to action.
Yeah, what should we build?
And do it, you know?
How can we help? Because people, not just with disabilities, other people will be impacted by things that are happening currently. So
we need each other.
We need each other. We need each other. And we should start with grace, damn it. All right. I think that's important. So to me, I think it's important for people to leave some nuggets. And some takeaways from not so much necessarily, you know, for in this case, the book, but more of like just words of wisdom and encouragement as we go forward. Mm-hmm. So just a couple of questions as we get ready to wrap up. But what's one mindset shift that's helped you the most through the unexpected journey of life?
I would say standing in my truth, knowing my truth, recognizing my truth. I know that's kind of like a mic drop one, but it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
life's better that way. I don't know how you live any other way.
It really is. Yeah. It's that. And then for me, moving forward with grace. You know, what does it look like to move forward with grace? And so each time something that might be challenging, you know, high scale, low scale, any of that, I take a look at it and I sit with it. I let myself sit with it. And then I'm like, okay, then what's next, right? What is the lesson that I'm learning here? And then where's my energy supposed to be? In all facets of life. So, you know, with my kids as they move through each phase, with my partner, with my friendships, with my career, what does that look like?
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. Someone's in a tough season right now. What encouragement would you offer?
You've already endured your worst day, and as of today, doesn't mean that you're not going to have more worse days, but better days will come, and better days do come. And so hang on, and move through it, and lean into it. Yeah. Some people run away from it, and it's going to chase you.
It'll chase you.
It'll chase you. You need to do the work, and the work's here. It's not all the external stuff. The work's here, and it never ends.
And once you get over, tell me if I'm wrong. Once you get over the initial fear of it, and you go in, it actually feels better.
100%.
Yeah, right.
100%. Yeah. And I see that with my own kids as they move through their phases, and I see it with all the wonderful people that I get to share space with. You know, for sure.
That's awesome. Well, I'm proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
You wrote a book, and it's launching 1 week from today when this show goes out on August 15, 2025. So where can people find it?
Amazon.
All right, making it easy for people.
Yeah,
I like that.
And then watch, because we'll be launching my podcast, Just Kimberly. So that'll happen later this fall.
I obviously,
Next up.
I might be biased here, but I'm really excited for that.
Very exciting.
You know, people think this studio is just for us. It's like more and more people are coming in now, so they don't think that. But in the beginning, they did. I'm like, no, it's like we can all use this together because it's going to take all of us to be able to create that better tomorrow. So, appreciate the conversation. If somebody's looking to connect with you, where can they connect with you?
Yeah, LinkedIn.
LinkedIn? Okay.
Yeah, LinkedIn's great.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Rock and roll. And then podcast launching this year. Book launch is here. And you
acquired a property.
And you sleep in the middle of all that and get rest to show up. So, my friends, there's no excuses to do your thing, but I appreciate you being on the show again
thanks
today.
So much for having me back.
Being a part of our community, it means a lot. So keep going. Excited to see you creating here too. So,
thanks, Jason.
Just Kimberly is going to be an awesome show.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Friends, I'm going to take this. It's important to pivot with grace. Life's hard when we can just help each other and we could allow ourselves that grace to be able to like chisel upwards in life. Life's just better. So read this book and check her out on LinkedIn. She's doing big things. Like it's you can buy the book on Amazon. The center is going to be awesome. Like I don't know where she's finding the time to sleep, but I think from getting to know her executive leadership as she's enjoyed this journey of life has prepared her for this moment to build. So she's building. Go get this book, Pivoting with Grace, and keep following her to check out and learn more about the center that she's building with her partner. My friends, We built a studio. I'm going to keep holding this. We built a studio for people like you, for people like her. We think your voices are important. Let's go. Support local, love local. We're stronger together. Peace.